right, so welcome back. This is episode 26.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yep, we're
we
here.
Got Thor?
Yep, we got Thor Drake in the house.
Legend.
From, local legend here from CC. I mean, he's got a background from, we'll get into that, CC Coffee, CC Motorcycles, The One Show. I think you got some other stuff that kind of keeps rolling, but we're...
Was in Jackass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what I was showing Will. Was in Jackass, doing stunts in Jackass and the whole deal. So.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's pretty gnarly.
I've done everything.
So, yeah.
I'm trying to do everything, I guess.
Totally.
Got a few more years to do everything.
Right. Busy guy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're stoked to have you here. You reached out for us to do the branding for the One Show this year.
Yeah.
Year 13, so.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I saw you guys at Thursday Night Motocross for the 50th, and I was like, man, that's a cool rig they got over there. I need to reach out and just, talk to them more often, just because we're both into very similar things, motorcycles, design, art, messing things up a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. We were a vendor at your show. What, 14?
I forget the year, but yeah, we were there. It was fun.
Yeah, super fun.
Slanged a bunch of merch. Great crowd. So yeah.
I told my wife that I was working with you guys. She's like, oh, they were so great to work with, because I think she was in charge of the vendors that year.
Yeah. So. We had made some posters. Kind of got involved in the art show that year, and it was rad. It was super fun. Yeah, and then, I mean, Dustin and I have kind of motorcycle backgrounds growing up in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
We used to do a lot of work for Shift, and you mentioned Rollin' Sands. We did a couple of apparel packages for Rollin' Sands back in the day. So, we've done a bunch of stuff. And a lot of it was linked to the growing up in San Diego, going to Glamis and Octia Wells. And all that stuff. So,
Racing REM every Saturday for multiple years. Love that industry. It's been a while. Had to move out, get an apartment, got rid of the bike, but missing it.
I mean, that was one of the things when we moved the studio up here, was when we saw CC's, I was like, what the hell is this? A coffee shop, motorcycle shop kind of deal? Like, this is rad.
Yeah.
And then to see the One Show, I was like, holy shit, this is like, the scene up here is much better and, I don't know, cooler than I thought it was,
Man, everybody here is so cool and unique. I mean, from Ryan Huffman, who runs Washougal, old former pro, and just totally like ingrained guy, and he's kind of weird too. So to like some of their promoters, Joey Lancaster, who puts on the 125 Dream Race, and I work with him. He's my friend. He always announces all our events. So
that's cool. Yeah. There's deep roots up here.
Yeah,
for sure.
Totally. Yeah, you kind of come across everybody that rides in different ways, even if you're into like just Harleys or just motocross or street bikes. Kind of somehow will.
Yeah, because you have people coming out for the One Show with bikes in the show, as well as coming to attend from all over the world, right? Almost.
Germany, England.
Yeah.
Damn.
People ship their bikes over.
It's a pain in the ass to
Italy,
crank those bikes up and get them over here.
No joke.
Yeah.
It's a big local show, but when we were there vending, I was meeting people from Seattle, all over. I'm like, damn, you guys are driving down for this? And they're like, oh yeah, of course. I'm like, all right, sick.
Yeah, it's rad.
Yeah, and it kind of grew alongside the coffee shop. I mean, they were one and the same, really. And then they just sort of let them grow naturally, as you would a plant or whatever.
Totally.
And they, I was the other day. I was like, what is it like? Why it's so hard to run a business that does coffee, motorcycles, motorcycle shows, motorcycle races, because they're all completely different businesses.
Totally.
And like the only common theme about them is me and my ADD.
Right. And your love for those things,
And I have no idea what I'm doing, so it's it could be a struggle at points, but
if you took that business plan to a Chase Bank back in the day, they're gonna be like, it's not gonna work.
I have the original business plan, and I read it the other day, and it makes no sense. Like, even to me that wrote it 10 years ago or 15 years ago or whatever. I'm like, God, I must have looked like such a kook bringing it around to people and being like, check this out, it's gonna be crazy. And then here we are.
Well, cool. Well, I think looking at the brand over the years, like there's something there as far as the branding that you've created, the marketing behind it, the videos you do, everything around CC, the way it's presented. And when you came over the other day, you mentioned that you have a background in advertising. So
sort of.
So when you kind of mentioned that, to me, I'm like, oh, okay. So he gets it. Because, I mean, a lot of moto guys, I would say, could care less kind of about design and marketing and things like that. That's not really that typical.
It's a unique industry.
So I feel like you have an eye for it, and it shows with all your companies and everything. So so you so you did do something in advertising. Or?
I was doing set design and prop design and building weird things. Like Dave England and I built videos. I ended up in Jackass because of that, and I was just doing like the other side of advertising, like the physical side of it.
Yeah.
And then the recession hit, and I was like paying to work, and I just couldn't figure it out. And the only people who were hiring me were like these advertising people, right? So I was like, well, fuck, maybe there's something to that business,
Totally.
So I quit, sold all my tools. I had a little workshop below the Nike skate park.
Okay.
I actually built the original Nike skate park when Xavier was around.
Shit,
so
okay.
That was another part of my life. But
that was a minute ago.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was like the first guy hired over at Xavier when they did that whole thing. And then I built the whole office. Anyways, that's another side of things. But when the recession hit, I kind of just was like, fuck this. I'm gonna go see what this is all about. So I did a program at Wieden and Kennedy. And I was probably the worst student there because I was like, I'm pretty antisocial most of the day, It's really, I turn it on when I have to, but
good place to take a program though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, my teachers were legendary. Fucking Jim Riswold. I have to say fucking before. I never say Jim Riswold without saying fucking.
It goes hand in hand.
He's just a wonderful weirdo. He's a legend, and he did. Things he did like the Space Jam ad campaign, and coming full circle working with Tinker, that's kind of interesting. I mean, his first commercial was with Lou Reed and Honda, and it was a scooter commercial where Lou Reed is walking through the city of New York, and then he looks at the scooter and he goes,
"Hey, don't settle for walking."
Which I was like, that is the best fucking motorcycle commercial ever.
Simple. Yep.
Yeah,
straight to the point.
It is better than walking.
Yep.
As he's walking through the streets of New York.
That's great.
But the guy is just, a total nutcase that understands philosophy, and that's really, when it comes to advertising, it's how do you move people, right? So it's all philosophy, really, and I just love humans and the way that people fucking, think and so
interact and
I just gleaned a lot off that whole thing. I mean, all the work that I did there, because it was a working school, so we did real clients. All the work that I did there was so insane that it never really did it.
Never saw the light of day?
No, it did.
Oh, yeah.
But nobody understood it, that's for sure. It was like, all the work that we did there was just pretty nuts. I have to pay to work because it's school.
Yeah, totally.
And then to do that, I had to work full time on the side building trade show booths. So I was just like pretty pissed at the end, I'll be honest. And so I started the One Show, and it was like, that was my thing that got me through it. So it was basically, I was just staying after our daily work and, in between jobs. And I would just basically use my students. I would hire to do all the graphic design for free, and then I would go to the studio and print all the posters for free. And
that's cool.
Sneak it out in the backpack. And my idea from the get-go was like, the One Show is the philosophy behind it. The sort of advertising part was like, with motorcycles, everybody has like a different thing that they're into and different like area that they get excited about, and I've sort of picked up on that. So the One Motorcycle Show is like, what is that bike that does it for you? And then in that exploration, you usually learn about other bikes and other things, and then you sort of it sort of always is moving, but it's the idea in your head that's like perfect, and that's what the One Show was. That was the advertising behind the One Show. If you guys want to go over like
let's dig in.
First round of your logos.
So basically sent these to you yesterday, so you've had them, been able to look at them. This is kind of our first time sitting down with a client on the show and kind of digging into this. I think it'll be cool to hear your response, what you think. If you don't like any of them, fucking say I don't. These are all shit. When do I see round two? These are shit. But no.
And
so let us
they're in
know.
no specific order. You just popped them in there. So
Yeah. So digging into logo number one here. So this one, you know, you kind of got the script, got the old school kind of swooshes with the S and that whole deal. What are your thoughts on this one?
To me, it's like it follows some of the brand stuff that we've done in the past with the layout, and it's like really looks automotive heavy, like car, motorcycle.
Yep.
You can tell that it's like whatever is involved with that, I would say that comes across.
Yeah.
This one has a feel to me of like racing.
Yeah.
Because it's got the
with the checkered and
the checkered and the track kind of corners and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so when I saw this one, I was like, this is exactly what we need for the race side of it.
Yeah. Because you have the whole race side. Right. You know, that happens every year as well. So
yeah, the One Pro race.
For sure.
Which is a flat track race we've been doing for the last 5 years. It's like, you know, outlaw, pro purse, we get all the top guys. This actually like fits really well with what we currently do as a step to the side.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I love the one over here.
Yeah. Cool.
I think that on the back of a t-shirt, you know, I could see being super cool, and it's like classic, but it also has a stamp on it a little bit, like for like the racing side of the show. This is where I want to go. Okay. Absolutely.
Yep. So moving on, a little bit more retro.
Yeah. You know, in Oregon, they typically do the big O like that because it's it's pretty iconic. For sure. So this one has like a really Northwest vibe to it. And so what I did with looking at this one is I paired it with some of the imagery, the motorcycle imagery that you guys had, and it fit better with the less racy bike.
Okay.
Yeah, it had more of a classic vibe.
Well, and we have the bikes in here. We'll get to those at the end, kind of show those illustrations.
Yeah. And one of the challenging things is when you provide really good logos across the board, it's hard to like pair it back to two or whatever, or like one or two.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally you kind of have one style of branding throughout your whole thing, but I like doing the One Show and the One Pro in two different styles so that you kind of reach a different market with
it. So we have, I don't know, 10 logos personally at the studio. So if it is
studio.
something that you're like, yo, let's do, you know, the brand has a logo, the event has a logo, the race has a logo. I mean, I think that's easy and cool for us to provide that, and that's something internally that we love. So
yeah, and it's weird, right? Because you don't really think about that. You're just like, I mean, you guys having many logos is almost like defined because that's what you guys do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, like so I always like try to like hone it down with logos to what they're sort of trying to say, right? I mean, that's the whole point of a logo.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Moving on, number 3.
Love the treatment of the one on the side.
Okay. Yep.
I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely unique.
Yeah.
But this one is like more evolved, I think, as a show. Like we're sort of scrappy.
Right. It's almost too much.
Yeah, this one just didn't fit the exact like style.
Yep.
I would say that the side ones do that, but the center one was a tough one for me to figure out with the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
One piece we had a challenge with, you know, you're saying to use motorcycle instead of moto. So,
right.
I mean, we have versions that have it and don't have it, but that internally it's so many letters. Just visually, you're like, all right, it's the One Show. So it's 334, and then you got this one word with like 10 characters or however many.
Totally. Yeah, and it is tough. And the funny thing is like when we say it, we say the One Moto Show.
Yeah.
But when you read it, you have to see motorcycle, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean, moto is distinctly, you know, MX, so it's fair. You know, it's a fair piece, but
as a designer, you want to go the One Moto.
Yeah,
you want to. You just want that simple word. Yeah,
totally. It does make a lot more sense, and it matches the one, and it's definitely
visually easier to work with.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
One of our illustrators was doing some different scripts, some old school scripts. And none of them really turned out right, but he kept using moto, and we're like, I know that's easy, but no, we can't.
He's like pushing back, like, hey, no, it looks good. And we're like, well, we know, but just go ahead and do the whole word.
So moving on to the next one, number 4.
This is probably the one that like I think hits the brand the most, and I think probably would work because it works in a square, it works in a line.
Yep.
Or in a horizon, and I love the way that it reads too, because any way you put it up, like it really it really reads super well. So
Yeah.
I'd say that this one like follows what we've done in the last 12 years probably the most, and I think that this one stands out probably the most to me as like the as the lead.
It definitely feels like it drops in line with what you've done.
Yeah, if this is year 13, it makes sense with 1 through 12.
And I was when I was looking at them, I was trying to not be biased because I noticed that you guys did our standard colorways for the two that I really liked the most.
I know, right? Is that,
so I was like, I wonder if they did that intentionally to like point out.
We actually had different colorways, but our printer was doing them kind of shitty, so we flipped. This color was printing a little better, so we kind of flipped to that. But that color ain't working too well there. So
no joke.
So we've had conversations about this too, because sometimes certain clients will present the logos just in black and white in the beginning, so they don't get hung up on color. Because we've had clients that are specifically picking because of color, and it's like, well,
they're like, well, we love red, and that logo is great, and they're like, well, we can make any of these.
Yeah,
they're like, no, but this one's red right now. We like that one
for sure. So
and this one I liked because it has that punch that we always tried to stick with, which is like strip it back and make it simple, like
for sure.
It has the 1 in the 0, which I think is great, and it works really well with that big square and the drop shadow.
I mean, the letter form's super unique. As soon as I saw this one, it was a little more, he had like shines and stuff in it, and we had him strip it back, and it's like, this could easily be it right here. It's classic, simple, but unique enough, the letter form. That C on motorcycle that's the best C I've probably seen in a while.
That's a good C.
Yeah, even the L and the
Even the numeral one doesn't have that. I don't know, crossbar at the bottom, which we were even talking about. Like, do we add that on this one? Do we not? Does that help sell it as that traditional vibe? Does it not? But I kind of like it without it.
I like it. I like it here. Like when I see it here, I want it. I want that little bar at the bottom. But on this one, I'm like, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's different than what you guys have done in the past,
I showed it to my brother who doesn't understand anything of it. He's like a construction worker, so he's like my construction worker filter. He goes,
totally.
He goes, I kind of like the Nintendo one. I was like,
is this what you call the Nintendo?
I was like, what do you mean? I was like, oh, okay, I get it. It's got
that's cool. At least it's vintage and
it's got a little bit of future, future look, vintage future look.
Yeah, that's cool.
So this is the one that was like working the best for me.
Okay. So then we dove into. Oh no, we got more. Yeah. How many we got? 6 total.
5.
Yeah. Okay. That's the last
5
one.
in a cover.
Yeah.
This one looks to me like a trophy. So I'd say that this one is probably it looks like a specific use of the like
for the winner.
Yeah, totally. If we made like a trophy, this is where I would use something like that. For sure.
Gotcha.
But it could fall in line with what we're doing,
Right.
Like if we did make trophies, that could be a huge plaque that was cast out of aluminum, and it would still be pretty rad.
Cool. So then we dove into, you basically gave us your 2 favorite bikes that you might want to use for the poster or, to kind of represent the brand and everything. So we had 2 of our illustrators do different illustration styles for each bike. So what's the name of this bike?
This is a Manx Norton.
Okay.
And this bike is just like it's like such a macho motorcycle because it was raced out at Isle of Man and was like, proven winner.
Okay.
It's a 500 single, super gnarly, like rough bike.
Yeah.
But just like iconic. The one problem that I was kind of worried about is that it like, if you squint at it, it definitely reads as Cafe Racer.
Right.
To most people.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, not many people would know like that bike was legendary at road racing when road racing was like back then, the 60s, 50s, 60s. But I love the simplicity of it. Like it's a very technical drawing, but like there's not too many. So when you're doing like t-shirt application or whatever, it's not too overly detailed or like a patch, right?
Totally. Yeah.
And it reminds me of the previous years. So I think this one with the
square.
The square. Bjorn's Nintendo one.
Yeah. We'll call it the Nintendo logo.
That one and those, they work really well together.
I can see that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, those two kind of match each other in a really good way.
Yeah.
The only problem that I have with that one is that it kind of eliminates like the chopper dudes a little bit, because chopper dudes have no idea really what that is.
I'm sure you battle with that, like looking at all your old posters as far as if one bike is going to go on there, what is what is that going to be?
There's so many little it's like all these
It's
sub markets to it, so
it's tough. And usually like I don't care. I'm like, this is what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, either you know about it or you don't. But
and that's where we've talked about. I mean, we could do 2 bikes or 3 bikes, you know.
Yeah.
Depending on, we would just need to know from you what those bikes are, you know.
Totally. Yeah, and I've thought about doing that too, but then it conflicts with like the easy read of the one, right? You know, and that this kind of says like, okay, this year we're focusing on old vintage like road race bikes, you know, and so we can get a bunch of those at the show, and that kind of changes from year to year. So yeah, I mean, I really just got to say, like, who cares what chopper dudes think? Either they know about it and they are stoked on it, or they don't know about it and who cares. So maybe we'll educate them. But yeah, I really dig. I mean, that bike is so cool.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
you know, big ass tank. You know, and that was purpose, because they had to make it around, you know, the Isle of Man, which is a 32 mile track. You know, the little windscreen was like so that they get a little bit of comfort when it's misting over the mountain pass. And then the big rotor in the front, the leading shoe rotor, was like, you know, all the braking power that you could possibly squeeze into a drum brake, with the 2, so it has 2 drums on each side, and it's huge. I mean, that motherfucker is like that big, you know?
Heavy as shit.
Yeah, heavy, no doubt. But that bike, and then so, I don't know if this is a featherbed design, but so then they did a chromoly, I believe, featherbed frame.
Okay.
And it was like the lightest frame that you could get with a Norton.
Gotcha.
And it was, I think, an aftermarket deal. And I'm not sure if this is a split case or a uni case, but split transmission and motor.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it is. But these are like kind of legendary bikes.
That's cool.
When men were men.
All right.
They raced those things. Yeah.
It sounds like we need an infographic about this bike.
I know,
that
totally.
describes how
seriously, a little bullet point,
Totally.
a little sketchy, like.
Oh, that'd be a cool idea. Yeah, stuff pointing at it, like this drum is big as
just
hell.
kind of like hand drawn.
All
like,
front brake, no back brake.
Yeah, the big oil tank in the back that just, you know, extra oil so the thing wouldn't overheat.
That would be rad.
Glass gas filter.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's a long. That's
do a
early.
tech.
Early
Yeah.
to have that.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably designed in early 50s, you know, late 40s, really. But then this bike, of course, is like kind of legendary. I mean, everybody's got a story about a Lightning BSA, you know, like
Yeah.
that.
Totally different illustration style. You got the color, the grays in there.
Yeah. I really love this bike too, you know. And I was like, wow, this is like the hardest choice, because this opens doors to a lot bigger
Audience and
Understanding
it.
and it's also like just a legendary bike, you know. I mean, every cool rocker dude, you know, in the 60s had a BSA, you know, and it was just such a unique bike. It was a twin cylinder, air cooled, you know, and some had twin carbs, some had single carb. I don't know if that one has a single or a double. I think everybody who had a dad that was into motorcycles has a story about the BSA in the garage or whatever, and kind of race inspired, had a little bump stop seat, and then, you know, just a really kind of close your eyes and think of a motorcycle, that's what pops into your head, right? Like, and that must mean something because it is so iconic. So I love that one too. So it's gonna be tough to like really figure out the direction.
So which we can actually show you both. I mean, because kind of the next steps for us is once we lock down that logo, we're going to move on to the posters and some of the marketing stuff.
Right.
You know, like for us to drop either motorcycle into, say, the poster layout, you know, that's a no-brainer. I know it's easy, but
yeah.
I think it'd be cool to
visually, composition-wise, I like the other one better just because the handlebars are straight. You know, it's a visually a better-looking photo, you know, to draw from, and this one's kind of turned and leaning to the side. So that's where I just lean towards this, and even the illustration style. Personally, I like this one better. I think either would work well. But yeah, is there an illustration style you're leaning towards, minus the bike, as far as?
Well, this just is easier.
Yeah.
For multi-use, I mean, patches, T-shirts, hats. I mean,
Yeah, there's more negative space. The docking on the printing would be less.
Totally, and like you could drop in a logo on the tank,
you could put
or on the wheels. And it's weird because I like this one because it's more simple, but then I like the other one because it's more detailed. So, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough.
That is tough.
I think once you see this with the logo and the type locked up on a poster, I think this would be the winner. But
visually, composition wise, just the way it's sitting, I think this one would be better. But
do you see what I'm saying though? That this bike matches that logo, and that bike matches that logo.
Yep,
Totally.
Yep, exactly.
They really. And that's where I was like, well, if I go with that bike, then I kind of have to go with that logo. And if I go with that bike, I have to go with that logo.
Right.
And then that one can be for the race.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like it would work really pretty well. So.
Yep. Okay. Well, cool. I mean, it's great feedback for sure. That's exactly.
Yeah, the poster is going to be going to be fun. I'm already looking forward to laying out the bike and the type together.
Yep.
I just had this like weird idea that just popped into my head. But like, what if you did a two-sided poster? So the words and stuff were, all the information was the same, but you would print both sides and just whatever one people wanted to use.
That'd be great.
See how it worked. Just to see, just as a fun experiment. I mean, I don't know. That's like a fuckload of work. See, it's like, but lay them out so that they're very formulaic. So the bike's in the center or whatever, 3/4 down, and then information. But use.
You flip it and it's basically a totally different logo on bike. But
because you've already done the work,
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, so we're always talking about point of difference, doing something, wowing them, shock factor. I mean, having two different full, styles would be
kind of interesting,
kind of fun.
Right. Like that's one thing that we've never really done. We've always just done like, okay, here's our standard. Let's go with it.
Yep. So. And then if you hung them up around town, you could do this whole checkered thing, one.
Totally.
So
it'd be kind of cool.
Flipping the poster and hanging it. Yeah.
I mean, one of the logos is mine that you're talking about, so I'm like, let's do the two logos. So,
it's like, hell yeah.
So I can show
Put
my
that one
homies
on the back.
So I can show my homies back home, like.
Yeah.
But either which way, what you've picked is,
solid.
I believe in it, so I think it's going to be sick. But to do two would be something totally different.
Because they do speak to two different types of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, definitely, I could see that. I couldn't even explain it, but it does.
Yeah, totally.
And then you guys got the task of 21 helmets too.
I was gonna say we got that coming up. So 21 helmets. We're super stoked to be involved in that. And it's gonna be presented by Lincoln Design. So every year you pick 21 artists, send them a blank helmet. They can do whatever the hell they want with it. People have freaking put
Bondo
horns
it,
and Bondo.
paint it.
Yeah, you can do traditional painting, on the helmet, or just go nuts.
Are you guys going to do open submission, or are you guys going to do?
So we're going to talk about that right now. So we have a group of artists, that we really like and would like to reach out to, old skateboard artists, people that we've dealt with. So we probably have. We probably have a lot, but we'll probably narrow it down to like 10 or 11 that we, try and get involved.
Specifically.
Yeah, send them a helmet.
And that, I've done for a number of years, and the best way to do it is like, just get the most excited artists.
Yeah,
exactly. The most excited, even if they're not that good, they'll come up with something amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was going to mention on here, if anybody watching the show wants to send, info design, Lincoln at info design, a portfolio or something, you think you want to paint a helmet, send me some work. If it's good, there's a possibility that could happen. So,
hell yeah.
And I think that they said they might, it's a possibility they turn into a colorway.
Yeah, you said. So the Icon is supplying the helmets.
Icon is supplying the helmets.
Cool.
And 21 different, white airframes or airflows. Airflight, And then... we'll have them on display at the show, and try to do like a little preview show in Portland, maybe before the main show, if possible, if time allows, or even if it's just some of them. And then the artists get to keep them afterwards, or that's how we've always done it, or they can display them at CC if they want to.
Sick.
And they can pick them up anytime. If one of them stands out as like a good colorway for a helmet, they.
Icon, Icon's talking about making it. So
and I don't know if there's financial reimbursement for that, but there could be, maybe,
there are certain things that are really hard to get in the design industry. A skateboard made, a shoe made, a helmet made. So to have a helmet made is pretty legendary. So, hopefully you don't have to. Whoever makes it doesn't have to figure it out, because we've designed helmets before, and figuring out that cylinder is probably the hardest shit ever. So
no joke.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right. Well, damn, man. I appreciate you stopping by. And
yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, this is the first time I've ever got to do like a live design review. So
yeah,
hopefully it translates to information that people are excited about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, definitely.
And same for us. First time getting critique live, so it's perfect.
Put me on the spot.
Totally. Yeah, exactly.
We're one, it's like, damn, he may come in and just start over. So we're like, all right.
Yeah, this one, nah. Yeah,
I got actually one funny story. I designed a Traeger grill on an Indian motorcycle.
Damn.
So it was like a full grill bike.
Yeah.
And they did a video kind of for the whole thing, and they invited me to go down to Traeger, right? And so I didn't know anybody at Traeger. I just they flew me down there and had a cameraman, and I just so they put me in front of their entire design team, and they're like, okay, so here's a whiteboard. Tell us what you're gonna do. Draw some pictures here.
Oh,
and I was
shit.
like, guys, like I'm an artist, but like not on the spot and not on a dry erase board. Like this is gonna be really tough for me. And so I started just like drawing this thing, and I was like, oh god, this is going terrible. And they're all looking at me like, so you're gonna put a motorcycle, you're gonna put a Traeger? And I was like, oh Jesus, like just bear with me. I'm drawing here. This sucks, and it's totally out of proportion. And I was like trying to scribble it out, so it looked like I was doing. It was totally put on the spot, but the bike ended up being super cool.
That's cool.
You can ride and grill at the same time.
Is it the one you take to shows? Don't you have one that has like a
coffee?
Yeah, the coffee one.
Yeah, I have two different sidecar bikes, so I've become sort of a sidecar aficionado to some degree. But the sidecar coffee bike goes around, and that's amazing.
That thing looks sweet.
It's like a full, water storage, everything internally.
We'll pop up a photo of that thing on here.
Yeah, it's super cool. And then the Traeger is Traeger mounted on a sidecar on a big big brand new Indian Springfield Dark Horse, like an 1800cc with big old ape hangers and a stereo and the whole deal. But it ended up on Jay Leno's Garage recently. They did a whole episode with Alonzo Bowden, and they went around and they had a little hamburger cook-off.
Oh shoot!
With the bike.
That's cool.
So can you can flip meats with the right hand and old school throttle?
I was gonna do it that way, but it made more sense to do it on the outside. But you can definitely go for a ride and smoke, a brisket, which is funny. Kind of fucking weird. All time, totally. While listening to music on like this super comfortable Indian 1800cc. Like,
I'll have to check that out.
It is. It might be my favorite bike.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I love to eat and I love motorcycles.
Yeah,
that's great.
Sidecars are kind of underappreciated too. I mean,
they're a pain in the ass.
Some of these dudes, some of the dudes who race them huck a sidecar, and that's very gnarly.
I've seen those
very
races,
gnarly. One dude's hanging over so they can.
That might be your 3-wheel idea there. Right? You never know.
Oh shoot!
It is technically 3 wheels, so that works. Yeah. It beats those funky trikes that my grandpa has. So.
It is. Yeah.
That's.
Put a grill on a motorcycle is the best.
That's cool. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Perfect.
Sweet. Well, thanks.
Cool. Thank you guys. This episode is brought to you by CC's Coffee.
Hell yeah.
Check it out. Yeah, check it out. They got some killer merch online as well, which is super rad. So
thanks.
Yeah, Tori, I appreciate you coming, and the feedback was amazing. We're gonna take that. We're gonna go into round 2, and we'll show you some new shit. So
I'm not an advertising guy. Just
hey, you have a great backup.
I had
with
smoke
Kennedy,
coming off my heels when I left that building.
You ran for the hills.
Yeah, I did get to hang out with Wyden a few times. Cool. So he just passed away. And
he did. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's crazy.
So he actually. God, we talk forever, but he wrote one of the first Harley commercials.
Damn. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he told me the whole story about how he was pitching to the Davidson family, and he was like, and then you get a Harley coming over the hill, and they're like, wait, what did you say? Harley coming over the hill? And he's just young, he's a pretty young guy at the time. It's back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And they're like, a Harley or a Harley Davidson? And he's like, yes, a Harley Davidson coming over the hill.
You gotta include both.
So
they're definitely sticklers about that. We've done a bunch of teas, and if you leave that little dash off, Harley dash Davidson. If you don't have that dash, you're getting changes. So.
Yeah, we used to do a lot of teas for them. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, respect.
That's interesting.
Logos, but.
Cool.
Not an advertising guy. All right.
Yeah, cool.
Well, you got an eye for design, and you're an amazing builder, and you got some amazing companies. So, props to you, man.
No, props to you guys, too.
Cool.
All right, like, subscribe, comment, and, see y'all next time.
Yep, right on.